Hello, hello, hello. Yes, it's your good friend, or not, the old Git here, with another one of my enlightening videos. Well, let me tell you, today, my rant today is an extension of a theme. The great takeover continues, and so I see it. What do you mean, you might ask? Well, I'm going to explain it all to you, as I always do. I hope you're all well. And here in sunny Spain right now, the temperature's around about, well, we're at about 30 degrees right now. At what time is it? It is, oh, it's only 4:15. Yeah, there you go. 4:16 in the afternoon, and it's nice and sunny, 30 degrees. I should be in the pool really, but I'm here because I'm compelled to speak about lots of things. Now, the takeover continues. I've discussed these before, but I think things are moving on at a pace. And it's like migrants first and UK indigenous people last. So let's elaborate. So I virtually spoke about this type of thing in a lot of my videos, and I'm not going to really recover it all. We're just going to go into it, and it's really happening. I find that there is no doubt that the UK is systematically being taken over, as the rest of Europe. Um, and it's not nice. It's not nice that we are putting up with this. I mean, I'll just put that up there. And I think there's over 15 or 20 now, I'm not sure, uh, UK MPs who are all Muslim. Should the UK be worried? It says there. They've got more Muslim MPs in the UK than in any other country across the whole of Europe. I sometimes make light of these things, but how come? I'll give you an example. In Spain, for example, I live in Spain. I could never be an MP because I am an immigrant, basically. I wasn't born in Spain. I'm not Spanish. Okay. I can vote in local elections. I'm a permanent resident, but I cannot vote in the general election unless you are a Spanish person. You've got no chance. And that's how it should be. But anyway, uh, without digressing too much, we now have, or you now have in the UK so many Muslim MPs that don't swear allegiance according to their religion to anybody except one God, as they say. So, in actual fact, although they're making rules and getting involved for you, um, or so they say they are, I don't think they really are. But don't let that uh, make it sound as though all Muslims are bad. Zir Yusuf, Ben Habib, and many others who are really good. They're good statesmen, and many businessmen, and many other people who came to the UK and Europe to make their life. You must remember these Islamic radicals that are coming in and taking over are also taking over the people who came to the UK to escape them. And they're probably more frightened of these people than we are. So don't tar all Muslims with the same brush. We have to say that, and I think that's correct. Now, I predicted that probably in less than 2 decades, the radicals form of Islam, or the radical form of Islam, will take over the UK and most of Europe. And they're not backwards in coming forward when they talk about this. I mean, for example, if you listen to many Islamic radicals, they're all over social media and they're telling you the way it is. And well, I'll make a little. Here's one which makes it clear in no uncertain terms that they are not here to assimilate or integrate. They are here to take over.
Allah is not shy of the truth. We don't say that Islam is here to live, to coexist with lots of different religions and all of us can just hold hands and be friends. This religion was sent to dominate the world. It was sent to be superior, to extinguish the light of every other religion and to be superior to it. We're not shy to say it, and we don't find that to be something that we should be shy to say. That this religion has been sent to dominate, to wipe out, to take out every other religion, to eclipse it, to be superior to it, to have the people leave every religion and to accept Islam. And if that requires fighting to achieve it, then it requires fighting to achieve it. Because the greatest purpose for which jihad was legislated is to make the word of Allah the highest and the word of those who disbelieve the lowest.
Well, there you go, in a nutshell. And, if you think about what he's just said, they're going to take over the world. They don't ever they don't go to new countries. They go to non-Islamic countries to make their new life. The good people come first, and they are the good people. They don't, but then as soon as they've got their little enclave settled, where they've got people they can recruit and force into their ways, force into the way of Islam, the radical Islam, they come and they go in the mosques and they say you've got to do this, and it's in the Quran and it's the Hadith, and you've got to do it, because if you don't do it, you're not a good Muslim. And all of a sudden, these people that came are now becoming radicalized, particularly this because it's a couple of generations that they've been here now. The younger people, they seem to think it's like any young person. It's like left-wing idiots. The young Islamists are like the same, because we have to follow this cause, it's righteous. But as they get older, they realize that they're a complete idiot and they change their minds. But it might be too late this time, because radical Islam has a way of taking over, and it has an MO, it has a modus operandum where they do actually take over countries. And I use Lebanon as a good example. Lebanon was a Christian company. Why did I say company? I said it last time. Or a Christian country, and they were taken over in less than 30 years, and very violently taken over. And it's basically, we'll come to their modus operandum later, but believe you me, they come to non-Islamic countries to follow what it says, take over the world, everybody should be Muslim. Okay? Now, the sad thing is they're being assisted and protected by the present left-wing Stasi government that we have. And I'd like to play you a little clip, because this guy sums it up. This was a guy called, his name is Brendan O'Neill, and I think he's a Free Speech Union guy, one of them. And he was speaking on Australian TV, I think Sky Australia. Listen to what he says, because this sort of epitomizes exactly what is happening. So here we go.
The government is obsessed with Islamophobia. It's the only thing that this Labour government really talks about. Even though we're living through one of the worst crises of anti-Semitism of recent times, they're still banging on about so-called Islamophobia. So yes, the Free Speech Union has insisted that the government must open up this consultation and involve more voices, including voices that are concerned about the free speech consequences. Because, there is, of course, such a thing as anti-Muslim bigotry. That does exist, and that should be tackled. Of course it should. But Islamophobia is something else. Islamophobia is really just blasphemy law by the back door. It's about criminalizing or demonizing any criticism of Islam, any criticism of Islamic practices. Even criticizing radical Islam and Islamist terrorism becomes more difficult when you have this regime of censorship around this one religion in particular. So what the government is proposing to introduce is pretty terrifying, which is a new blasphemy law that would ring-fence Islam from any form of criticism or humor or mockery. And I think the Free Speech Union is absolutely right to say that this is a real attack on our free speech rights.
There you go. I mean, he says it quite eloquently that they're here to take over again, and or they want to take over. And the actual government of the UK, the Stasi government, as I call it, are there helping them by passing a law to protect their way of life. Not mine or yours, not a Hindus, not a Sikhs, not a Buddhists, not a Zoroastrians, not a Christian. Only protect, this law will only protect Islam. And it's part of the MO. They complain that they're being downtrodden, and people are basically doing bad things and against them, and we need help. If you hear my dog bark in the back, it's okay, don't worry. Just shows you that it's for real. And I just said it and he starts to bark. Oh, well, never mind. Hopefully he'll stop. So Brendan O'Neill there tells it the way it really is without me saying a word. And the present government, not only that, has know how the left wing, this sort of communist Stasi government, they have no idea how to run a country. Which they have done, they've never done it whenever they have been in office. They've never been able to run the country right. They also know that they will never get a second term in office. So what is the strategy? Well, you've got people like Angela Rayner, who hadn't got a pot to piss in, and all of a sudden she's in government, she's the Deputy Prime Minister, and she's worth 7 million, buying another second house, trying to avoid tax. That is what they do. Don't do what I do. Sorry, don't do what I do. Yes, correct. Do what I say. And she's a perfect example of it. And there's so much scandal going on. They all end up rich people. But hey, at the end of the day, if they stay in for the next 4 years, they're going to be fantastic for them. Their pockets will be lined. But what will be happening to the country? What is happening to the country now? You have to consider this. And they make sure that the country will be not in a fit state, shall we say, for the new government to function. So, they will have bankrupted the country. They would have basically just...
I declare bankruptcy!
They will have to do. They will have to declare bankruptcy, because they will be. I mean, when the last Labour government came in, I think they, on the desk of the Chancellor or something, they left a note saying we're skint. And you've got stupid kids running around saying, "Oh, left wing, we've got to be left wing." Forget it, because they're not looking after you. They're looking after their own pocket. As I say, don't do what I do. Do what I say, and they end up in good jobs. At the end of it all, they've got their stash of money. They've got a little bit of notoriety. They can make money by touring and conferencing and being members of companies on there as directors. They do it very well. They're not really there for you. Left-wing communist parties are completely corrupt. So much corruption in 1 year. Freebies, suits, glasses, his staff's wife's clothes. Rayner, I think this is the second time she's been in trouble for doing the wrong thing and trying to avoid tax when she sold her council house. Of course, Starmer has got he's a lily-livered man. He's got no cojones, and he won't sack her. I can guarantee he won't sack her. If he does, he'll send somebody else to do it while he's away jollying around the world, thinking he's some big giving it the big I am the leader of the UK. Well, we're a little island in the middle of the North Sea now. It's not 1939 anymore. Okay? You have Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, all forming a very powerful military strength. Think on. But anyway, so the new incoming government will have no money to do anything. But they will do it. Your government will also have to probably deal with the new internal enemy. And that will be mostly radical the radical far right, and who will be there helping them? Who will be helping them to get their foothold? Who is helping them to get their foothold right now? Well, of course, it's your illustrious leader, suffering Ramadan. Yes, this is in Westminster, can you believe? And they have their fast in
I'm
Westminster.
horrified by the
Listen to
wave of
this.
hatred we've seen directed towards British Muslims, whipped up, of course, by far-right rhetoric and disinformation.
Far-right rhetoric and disinformation. He's blaming. Listen, nobody's far right. People are just right. They've had enough. They can't pay their mortgage because we've got a customer service operator from Barclays Bank running the country and with all the country's money in her copies, right? City and governing crime because she's getting it wrong and she knows she's getting it wrong. And Starmer hasn't got the cojones again to sack her and to move her on and try and find at least somebody or be some proactive in doing something. The country is going down the tubes financially, culturally, every way, which way. And this destruction of government, if this government runs full term, the destruction of your culture and country is already underway and it will be well advanced by then. I mean, you will have now the new party of Islam, the Islamic Party, who have already got MPs that don't stand for anything to do with England. They got in on a ticket, voted for by Muslims, voted in from the Muslim enclaves. They got the votes there. And they came in on the ticket of saying, Free Palestine. Come on. Your MP is supposed to represent everybody, irrespective of colour, creed, whatever. But no, they are very certain direction. And by this time, if they do stay in full power, they'll be running their own states within the UK. They will. Birmingham and London are almost there now as we speak. And other areas too, not just there, where now there's no-go areas. They've started, I know, I was listening to a guy called Andre Walker, and he's very radical in what he's got to say, but he's been in government, not as an MP, but he's worked throughout Westminster and other places. He's very knowledgeable, and he says he's got a lot of information that you and I don't get. And he was talking the other day about Birmingham, where they're evicting, the no-fault eviction. They're evicting white families from houses in Birmingham, and maybe other places too, I don't know, might be going on, but I think he was just talking about Birmingham. And then putting the migrants that are coming over illegally, who've not put a penny into the copies, into these houses and making other people homeless. In other words, they're building their caliphate, they're building their area, which they will turn Islamic. Now, I know there's a lot of Hindus and Sikhs that live in Birmingham area, and I know that they're getting pushed to one side. It's only in all of the world and all the conflicts and all the things that are going on, not all, but I think 90% of them, the conflict is with some form of radical Islam. In Bangladesh, they're going in to Hindus' houses and killing Hindu people. Where's that on the TV? And Boko Haram and all these other factions and ISIS is on the rise again. And yet, we have the governments that won't do anything about it. We don't know who they are, but people who probably come from a similar background to where these Islamists come from, and they're easy prey to join up to what they have been taught in the mosques. We have the fifth column army already in place. In fact, there's more of them than there is in the British Army right now. So that should make you afraid. And also, there's Islamic or Muslim training, military style training grounds in the UK now, operating very well. And obviously, probably funded by the Muslim Brotherhood, who fund most of the mosques and the Sharia law councils and even some schools. So they're there. And these happen to be the Muslim Brotherhood, a banned organization from the UAE, from Saudi Arabia. They don't want them. Why? Because they're troublemakers. And my last video, there was a guy speaking from the UAE, a Muslim guy, who told it the way it was. We don't want these people in the UAE. Finally, I think J.D. Vance said something really scary, which you should really think about. Because J.D. Vance predicted the UK will become the first Islamic country in Europe with a nuclear bomb. How's that? And if they do, well, this is probably the devastation that you're going to see. I don't like to play things like this, but, you know, they will use it in the name of the one as they give the signal, the one. So today, I just wanted to go through that with you because, you know, it's really, you might say to me now, oh, you may say it can't happen. Well, I say it is happening. So where are we now? Let's just recap on what's happening whilst I do. I want to put up this because I want you to look at it as I speak and tell me where you think we are on this. I use this pretty often because this is part of the modus operandum of how these Islamists take over. So, destroying the economy. Well, they're doing that. I mean, the government are doing that without the help of them. They're doing it with this net zero. You know, you've got Russia and China and Kim Jong-un, whatever his name is. They're making weapons. They've got coal-fired. They're making steel. They're really getting their industry working, and they're making more pollution than we could ever make as a little island, right? But no, they're out there. Oh, we're saving the planet. We're saving nothing. We're just making everybody poorer. No money for your energy bills. And also, I've touched on this, but giving millions to illegal invaders and supporting terrorists who are helping to bankrupt the country, and they demand more and more. You tell me it's not over 7 million a day and rising? I mean, that's not all the costs. Look at the clock. Follow it round. Look at the MO. Passing laws to protect the invaders and the Islamists. You know? They demand privileges. Well, number 5 o'clock, special privileges. They're getting them from this stupid government we have in. And, for example, the blasphemy law, which we spoke about, it protects the Islamic religion only. And I propose we don't need it. Why do we need it? We don't need it. Nobody stops them following their religion. But what we do want to stop them is taking over and making, you know, in the prisons in the UK now, it's convert or get hurt. Lots of prisons, and it's public knowledge, are now run by radical Islamists. Prison guards are getting attacked. Phones are being smuggled in. Knives are being smuggled in. They're running the prisons. But no, we're Christians, or you're Christians, or you whatever you are, and you've got to turn the other cheek and all this. Forget that now, because they don't. and also the erosion of freedom of speech in many ways. Now, people have gone to jail for saying things on the internet, whereas we have people who've committed heinous crimes like the two guys in Manchester airport who savagely attacked the police, who broke policewoman's nose, who've been found guilty after over a year, but still haven't been sentenced after months. Why? Because they're Muslim. Why? Because the government's afraid of the Islamists and Muslims. Showing so much favour to the invaders, the UK, against its own citizens, ignoring the wishes. And these people, the judiciary is favouring any people who've raped children or molested children have been set free. People who should have been deported won't go because their children don't like chicken nuggets. Don't go because, oh, now I'm gay. Oh, you're gay? Yes, and I can't go back. Were you married in Pakistan? Oh, yes, I've got a wife. Oh, so, okay. Bit sus, isn't it? And the lenient sentences that they're getting just shows you that the judiciary is working against the indigenous people. There's a Sikh guy called Herman Singh. He's out there. He's one of the best patriots you'll ever come across. He's out there standing up for Britain. As many others. We have many black guys. There's black guys putting up the St. George's flag because they like their country. They may be naughty boys sometimes. You know, I don't like all this stabbing that's going on, and mostly black on black. You know, it's got to be solved. But whilst this other stuff's going on, how's that going to be solved? And it's going to turn some weak-minded people against the black community when in fact they're standing for Britain. Whatever else they do, they're standing for Britain. As many other creeds and religions are. And as I spoke about the Manchester guys, and probably, I think there's a good chance that they might not get a custodial sentence. What will you do then? Oh, you sit on your hands and take it. Oh, it's okay. It can happen. But people are spending months and years in prison for saying hurty words. Listen, freedom of speech is something that we fought 2 world wars over for everybody, so that I could sit in my chair right now and say what I wanted. If you don't like it, well, don't listen. If you don't like it, tell me your opinion. But I should be allowed to say it, whatever it is. And if you say something bad down the pub, you're going to punch on the nose sometimes. I remember when I was young, people said things they shouldn't, they get a quick slap. They didn't get stabbed or shot. So the 2-tier policing and the protection of members of that religion and all the things that are going on that I've just mentioned in this little video today are going a long way to destroying Europe and the UK. And the power is in your hands. And you have to make sure that you support the right people to get an end to this. And I believe if this Parliament runs its full term, if this government goes the full 4 years, well, by the time they finish, you'll be finished. You won't have a country. Somebody sending me a message, probably going to tell me off. Anyway, that's it for right now. So what I'm going to do is say goodbye. Think on everything that I've said, and hopefully until when we come the next time, you know, maybe it'll be something nice and good that I can talk about. But right now, I don't think there's anything good or nice about what's going on in the Europe and the world, and especially in the UK. Take care, my fans, or no fans, and stay safe.